The senior politicians in this country have one thing in common. And the one thing in common is that they've all been in this political game for the longest, actually a minimum of about 30 years. When you talk of Raila Amolo Odinga entered politics in the year 1982. So we're talking close to 43 years in active politics. Kalonzo Musyoka entered politics in 1983. So we're talking close to about 42 years in active politics. A leader like Musalia Mudavadi entered politics in 1989. We are talking to close to about 36 years in active politics. William Samoei Ruto, who is the current president today, entered politics in the year 1992. We're talking to that's about 33 years in active politics. So what does that tell you? That tells you that these are the same people, rather the same monkeys in the same forest. Fellow Kenyans, Steve Mbogo here. Now, there seems to be a lot of disappointment from Kenyans in regards to the handshake that was witnessed yesterday at KICC between President William Samoei Ruto and Raila Amolo Odinga. But I want to remind Kenyans and take you back and remind you that this is not news to us or news to Kenyans when it comes to Raila's handshake games. Now, I want to remind Kenyans that the first handshake that was witnessed was the handshake between Moi and Raila Amolo Odinga, and that is after the 1997 elections, when Raila was amongst the presidential candidates who ran against President Moi, and Moi won the elections, and Raila pushed for the first handshake to an extent that he was even made the Minister of Energy, and he became a senior party member in KANU. Now, the second handshake also was witnessed between Raila Amolo Odinga and His Excellency the late former President Mwai Kibaki, and that was in the year 2007. That was the second handshake. Now, the third handshake, we witnessed it against Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Amolo Odinga, and that was in the year 2017 after Uhuru Kenyatta won the 2017 elections. Now, this comes as the fourth handshake, and is the fourth handshake between Raila Odinga and William Samoei Ruto, and that is after the 2022 elections. So this is simply the same game that Raila plays, and we go into elections, and after elections he will push for this handshake game, and they will all agree to work together. But I want to remind Kenyans that we need to speak things as is, because these are matters of concern, and matters of concern in relation to the future of this country. I want to remind Kenyans that all the senior politicians in this country have one thing in common. And the one thing in common is that they've all been in this political game for the longest, actually a minimum of about 30 years. When you talk of Raila Amolo Odinga entered politics in the year 1982. So we're talking close to 43 years in active politics. Kalonzo Musyoka entered politics in 1983. So we're talking close to about 42 years in active politics. A leader like Musalia Mudavadi entered politics in 1989. We are talking to close to about 36 years in active politics. William Samoei Ruto, who is the current president today, entered politics in the year 1992. We're talking to that's about 33 years in active politics. So what does that tell you? That tells you that these are the same people, rather the same monkeys in the same forest. Now look at these four individuals I've mentioned here. They've all been in all senior political positions in this country. They've been ministers, they've been vice presidents, they've been president, they've been deputy prime ministers. But what do they have to show for it in terms of taking this country forward, in terms of development, in terms of enriching the lives of Kenyans? I don't think there's anything they can show for it. So what is it we Kenyans expect from these old individuals who've been in this game for the longest, and they have nothing to show for it? And right now we seem to expect them to do something that can change our lives. A time has come where now we need to do what we call a political overhaul in this country. We need to get rid of these same monkeys in the same forest if we want real change in this Republic of Kenya. And this is something we have to deliberate, and we have to speak as Kenyans. We have to say no to the same political cycles. These are the same individuals. It's like football players who change teams and all they do is change the jersey, but they're the same players in the same field. So a time has come as Kenyans, we need to discuss things as they are, and a time has come for us to declare and say, for us to see change in the Republic of Kenya, a time has come to say, fagia wote. These guys have to go. If we want good for our country, if we want good for the future of our children and our grandchildren in this country, a time has come to say, fagia wote. We have a political class that failed to update what we call their mental softwares. We have political leaders who survive or have what you call outdated mental softwares. They fail to update their political, mental, and economical softwares in their heads. So a time has come where we have to fagia wote and bring in new brains, new energies, new mindsets, new thinkings, new visions for us to see a better Kenya. Kwa hayo machache wa Kenya, wakati umefika wa kusema fagia wote. Asanteni.